Good morning, everybody. It's Denny from Master Teaching. And I think I've told you before, Master Teaching is not about me being a master teacher. It's about mastering the art of teaching. And teaching is an art. All right. So like and subscribe when you've had a look at the video. You don't have to do that beforehand, obviously. If you don't like it, don't do it. So, all right. So today what I want to talk about is how you manage as a teacher to remain sane. And it can be really difficult at times because, as we all know, there are a lot of asks on teachers and there are a lot of things that are always bubbling away under the surface. So let's talk about how you can react and how you can respond. You know, there are a lot of ways that you can cause your own problems by the way that you respond to events in teaching and any form of employment, actually. So if you come across situations which are difficult to explain or difficult to manage, you know, your resilience is very, very important. At the centre of this is you. You're a teacher, yes. It's not the be-all and end-all of your life, and it is not who you are forever and a day. So keep that in mind all the time. A job is a job. But if it's the job that you've chosen to do, if education is what you have actually chosen and you're committed to it, then you can find ways to do what you think is right, and you can have your say. You just need to be very clear in what it is that you know you are as a teacher, who you are as a teacher. It's very important to know who you are as a teacher, as indeed it is the same to know who you are as a person and to know your own boundaries, to know how far you will go and what you will compromise and what you won't. Now, compromise is a word that is a difficult one to use in teaching because there are so many restrictions, policies, procedures, all kinds of things that are systems and things that are expected of you as a teacher that actually surround the job. You would think that the job was about educating children, but it's also a lot about child protection, and it has a lot of inbuilt protection devices in the way and by means of policies, etc. Sometimes I wonder who they're protecting, actually, because at times you sort of wonder whether kids are allowed to fall over anymore and get a grazed knee, but and to learn that if you do something stupid, sometimes the results are painful. So that's part of what I want to say today, but mostly I want to focus on what to do when you have a problem as a teacher. What do you do when you know that the thing that you're being asked to do is an impossible task, or is not even something that you think is part of your job, or something that you actually don't prioritize? Now, I'm a big a big component of things that go wrong for me are always about me deprioritizing things in terms of my own agenda. And you have to understand that jobs come with responsibilities and they come with job descriptions, etc., etc. Having said that, sometimes, especially if you've been around a while, as I have, sometimes you don't see the job description exactly the same way as other people do. It can be interpreted in various ways. And it's an interesting thing that you sometimes have to just make your own mind up. So my answer to that is, if you get into that situation, don't stay. Don't stay. Immediately, you'll know very quickly if you feel that this job is not for you. Get out. Do something else. You have a passion for something, find it and work on that. That's much more important than bashing your head against a brick wall for years on end and really achieving nothing. So the jobs that, for me, the jobs that I find the most difficult to comply with are the ones that actually don't go anywhere. I find that very difficult. I find the ones that I can't get results from. And if you can get results, they're so, I mean, the word I want to use is piddling. They're so minuscule, so minute that you wonder whether you've done any good at all. There are massive problems in education. It doesn't matter really which country you're in. This whole conversation actually is not country specific. It's situation specific. We might not even be talking about teaching, but find your passion and work with that. Now, this is the thing. Remember, your gut feeling is very important. You know, deep down, you know what's important to you and what you can do. I have spent time in my life in various jobs where I have been treating water, actually, and I'm not at a stage in my life where I can afford to waste my time, so I actually think that's probably a mistake. However, there are times also when you have to understand that a fair amount of reflection needs to take place as well. So, it's not all about it's not all about now. It's about what happens to you in the future. And every little decision that you have to make will in the future have some reference back, some connection back to something you've done before, or it should. And maybe you just don't notice it, but usually there are some. So, what do I do in difficult situations? Well, if I'm feeling resilient, I take on board what's being said, I reflect on it, and I have the difficult conversations that need to be had. And I think that's what everybody should do. But there are times when you are having difficult conversations with people who are in authority or see themselves as in authority over you. So that's a very awkward situation to be in. It really deserves and it cries out for for mediation. And mediation sometimes works really well and sometimes doesn't work at all because it has to be approached with authenticity. So if there are any underlying problems, that will not work. And it takes two to make the mediation work. It takes the two parties, not one, even if one thinks they're right or one thinks they're in control or whatever else. So have a think about the power situation, the dynamics of that. And professional mediation is very helpful in those situations. However, again, as a person who needs to take some ideas on board, if you've got something to learn from the situation, do it. Don't just sit there and think, well, I'm always right, because you're not always right. You're actually not always right, and every situation has something you can learn from it. So think really hard about what you did to contribute to the situation. Write some things down. Do a plus minus interesting. Look at some graphic organizers. Figure out where you're going to go and what you're going to do about it. Give some numerical value to some actions that you might take, which is why I'm saying plus minus interesting. Figure out what you want out of the situation. And once you've done that, then you will know what you need to do next. So my next step is to reinvent yourself. Reinvent yourself in the image of the person who would have handled the situation better. And you may have You might not improve greatly, but you will improve some. And every improvement is a step in the right direction. So take on board the things that you've learned. Think about what else you can do. Who do you want to be? As an educator, who do you want to be? I've thought about that many, many, many times, and I have been through this process many times. And I can tell you that as an educator, I want to be me. I don't want to be anyone else. I want to be me. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to live with my decisions. I'm the one who has to live with things that I do, actions I take, relationships I make or don't make. And I'm the one who has to be able to look myself in the eye and say, well, you did your best, because that's what it's about. And then the other thing is to really see yourself doing these things, to be able to creatively visualize. And I know that's a very old, almost hippie term now, but actually creatively visualize, it means to be able to see yourself authentically in that mode, whatever mode it is. And things will happen along the way in your career, which will put you in, set you off in different directions. But the reflection aspect of it is 100% important. The other thing, I think, the one piece of advice that is vitally important is to never let things affect you personally. Don't let anything get to you. Always make sure that you are safe, and that means you compartmentalize yourself. For your safety, you compartmentalize yourself. Don't share everything with everybody. You do. People often think I'm very open and that I share all sorts of things, and I'll talk about my life, etc., and I'll talk about something that's happened to me. But what they don't know is what they don't know. So there are a lot of things that you don't need to share. If you want to share them, choose someone to share them with, but don't share them with everybody, because really, honestly, can you trust everybody? I don't know. So anyway, that's a little bit for today. I'm going to make some more videos, more specific videos about personal resilience, and about how that can be applied in the classroom as well. I think it's really important that we see that as having practical applications in the classroom, make you stronger as a person and stronger as a teacher. Okay, have a lovely day. It's miserable here. The weather is horrible. So it's raining. And you just have a good day and keep strong.